Football is officially back, and football being back, we obviously have to do our record predictions for each week, and with that out of the way, we'll go ahead and get started with week 1. Alright, and kicking off the season tonight, we have the Cowboys taking on the Philadelphia Eagles, and this one is going to be probably one of the more one-sided games of week 1. I mean, you've got the Eagles who just won the Super Bowl last year, and you have the Cowboys, who are about as delusional as it gets when it comes to a fan base. Jerry Jones and his ego literally got Micah Parsons out of the building, so that's a problem. And I think the Cowboys' defense is going to really struggle to stop the Eagles. I think the Cowboys' offense will be pretty good, but I don't think it's going to be enough to beat the Eagles just because of how poor their defense is. So with that, I'm going to say the Eagles win this game with a score of 35-24. Alright, and heading to tomorrow night, this game will be played in Brazil, so the Chiefs will be technically away versus their division rival Los Angeles Chargers. I mean, it's basically a neutral site for both teams, and this one should be a lot more competitive than the other game I talked about, just because I think the Chiefs are going to take a step back this year, and I think the Chargers are going to still be pretty good this year. So because of that, I think it's going to be a pretty good game, and I could honestly see either result happening, but I am going to go with the Chiefs just because they have proven time and time again that they know how to get it done when it matters, and obviously you want to win a division game in week 1, and I think the Chiefs are going to do that pretty easily. Well, not easily, but you know what I mean. They'll get the job done. It'll be close because it's the Chiefs, but I think they're still going to win 24-21. Alright, and heading to the first official Sunday game of the NFL season, you have the Dolphins taking on the Colts, and I think this is going to be a somewhat competitive game just because the Colts are at home, but at the same time, I don't trust their quarterbacks. I think it will be tough on the Dolphins just because it'll be an away game, and I think just because the Dolphins, they have Tua, they have Tyreek Hill, they have Jalen Waddle, they have Devon Achane, they've got, weapons on that offense, and I really don't think the Colts defense is going to have a good time trying to stop them, and I really don't think the Colts are going to be able to put up points either, so because of that, I have to go with the Dolphins here. With a final score of Dolphins 23, Colts 16. Alright, and heading to the next Sunday game, we have the Steelers taking on the New York Jets in a revenge game. You've got Aaron Rodgers on the Steelers, who played for the Jets last year, and you have Justin Fields on the Jets, who played for the Steelers last year, so this should be a fun one. The Jets are at home, so I'll give them a little bit of leeway, but I really don't think the Jets are going to be a good team this year. And I do think the Steelers are going to be a pretty good team this year, so because of that, I just have to go with the Steelers here. And I'll say the final score will be Steelers 27, Jets 17. Alright, and heading to the next game, we got ourselves a Cat Bowl. You've got the Carolina Panthers going to Jacksonville to take on the Jaguars. And this one I think will be relatively competitive. You've got Liam Cohen as the Jags head coach now. I think he's going to do wonders for that offense. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to have a really good year. And also, they have Travis Hunter. They brought him in, and I think he's going to pair really well with Brian Thomas Jr. And as for the Panthers, I mean, I do think Bryce Young's still going to be a relatively decent quarterback. So I think this is going to be a good game. I am going to go with the Jags here just because I really don't trust the Panthers defense that well. So I'm going to say that the Jags win this game with a score of 23-20. Alright, heading to the next game, we have the Cardinals taking on the New Orleans Saints. And, I mean, I really don't think it matters that the Saints are the home team. I think the Cardinals are going to crush the Saints. I think the Saints are going to be terrible this year. And I do think the Cardinals are going to be, they're not going to be an easy team to beat. And this is actually going to be my lock of the week. I'm going to say that the Cardinals win this game with a score of 31-14. Alright, and heading to the next game, we have an NFC East matchup between the Giants and the Commanders. And I will say, to the Giants' credit, they will be a better team than they were last year. I mean, that's not really saying much, but I like the fact that they brought in Russell Wilson. I like the fact that they drafted Jackson Dart. And I still think that offense is going to be relatively decent. I mean, you have Malik Neighbors, Tyrone Tracy. You have Andrew Thomas on the offensive line. I mean, they could be a surprisingly good offense. But I'm still going to have to go with the Commanders here. I just trust them a lot more as an organization. So because of that, I'm going to say that the Giants lose this game and the Commanders win with a score of 29-19. All right, and heading to the next game, we have an NFC South matchup between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Atlanta Falcons. And I think this is going to be a high-scoring game. I don't think either of these defenses are amazing. I mean, the Bucs defense is all right, but they're not anything amazing. And it's kind of the same story with the Falcons. And I gotta say, I don't think the Falcons are going to be as good as people think they will be. I think they'll be better, or they'll play better, but at the same time, that doesn't always translate to a better record, because every team's getting better. So I'm going to have to say that the Bucs win this one, and I think it's going to be by double digits. I'm going to say the Bucs win this one 34-23. All right, and we're heading to the AFC North now. It'll be the Ohio Bowl between the Cincinnati Bengals and the Cleveland Browns. And the Browns, they brought in Joe Flacco to be their starting quarterback. They also drafted Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders, which was definitely a choice to say the least. We'll see how they do. Their defense obviously has Myles Garrett, who's pretty good, and Denzel Ward, who's also pretty good. And the Bengals, they have anything but a defense. They've got Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase. Chase Brown's pretty good. But other than that, they don't really have a whole lot. I mean, they have Trey Hendrickson, but he can't do everything on defense. And I do think the Bengals are going to be a better team than the Browns, but they always struggle in week one. I don't know what it is. They just don't seem prepared for the first few weeks of the season. Will this be the year they finally snap the streak and win a week one game? I personally think they won't. I actually think the Browns are going to shock the world. And I guess you could call this my upset pick, because I'm going to say that the Browns win this game 21-10. All right, and heading to the Raiders and the Patriots. And this is actually sort of a revenge game because Tom Brady's a minority owner of the Raiders, and obviously everyone knows about his time with the Patriots. And I think it's going to be a little more low scoring than people might think. I think the Raiders, they're going to have Ashton Genty, and they're obviously going to run the ball a lot considering who their head coach is. And, I mean, the Patriots, they have Drake May, obviously. They brought in Stephon Diggs. They have Hunter Henry. They have Demario Douglas. They have Ramondre Stevenson. They have Travion Henderson, who could be good. But I actually think the Raiders are going to win. I think it's going to take the Patriots some time to actually get things going, just considering how young they are and how much of a project quarterback Drake May really is. So because of that, I'm going to say the Raiders win this game with a score of 20-17. All right, and heading to the first 4 o'clock game, we have an NFC West matchup between the 49ers and the Seahawks. Seahawks, they brought in Sam Darnold, so we'll see how that works. They lost DK Metcalf, which I think is a terrible move for them, because I think DK Metcalf is such an underrated wide receiver. But they do have a good defense. I will give them credit for that. Then the 49ers, they lost Drake Greenlaw and Talanoa Ufanga in free agency. They lost Deebo Samuel to the Commanders. They still have Juwan Jennings. They still have Brandon Ayuk, even though he's injured right now. They still have Ricky Pearsall. We'll see how he does in his second year. They have Brock Purdy. They have CMC. They brought in Brian Robinson Jr. from the Commanders. And I actually said the Seahawks are going to win this game in my season predictions, but I'm going to say the 49ers win. I think Sam Darnold needs to prove that he can win outside of Minnesota, and I think that it's going to be a little difficult for him to do that at the start of the season. So because of that, I'm going to say the 49ers win this game with a score of 27-20. All right, and to our second 4 o'clock game, we have the Titans taking on the Denver Broncos. The Titans, everyone knows about them. They signed Cam Ward, or they drafted him rather, with the first overall pick. And the Broncos, they brought in Talanoa Hufanga and Dre Greenlaw. And they also brought in Evan Ingram from the Jags too, so that'll help them out. And the Broncos, in theory, should definitely win this game, and I still think they're going to. But Cam Ward, he's definitely a wild card. I mean, he's not going to be an easy player to defend in this game, even though he's a rookie. Just because he's got that dual threat ability, so we'll see how the Broncos defense does against that. But I don't think it's going to be too bad. I think we're still going to win this game with a score of 24-14. All right, and for our next 4 o'clock game, we have the first of 2 NFC North matchups. We have the Lions taking on the Packers. The Lions, they lost Ben Johnson, so everyone thinks they're going to suck now and miss the playoffs, which I think is insane. And then the Packers, they got Micah Parsons from the Cowboys because Jerry Jones is dumb. So this should be a pretty good game. I mean, NFC North football usually is, unless it's the Chicago Bears. But I think it's going to be pretty high scoring, as weird as that might sound, just because Micah Parsons might not play in this game. He's had some issues. He's had some injury issues, so we'll see how he does. But I really don't think he's going to play, and if he does, he's going to be limited. And because of that, I'm still going to roll with the Lions. I think they're still a better team than the Packers. That might be a hot take, but I still think they're a better team, and they're still my pick to win the division. So I'm going to say the Lions win this game with a score of 28-24. All right, and with our final 4 o'clock game of the week, we have the Texans traveling to Los Angeles to take on the Rams. The Rams, they brought in Davante Adams, so that offense is even more stacked than it already was. I will say, though, it is a little concerning with Matthew Stafford and his back injury that he's going through. We'll see how he plays in this game, and it also doesn't help that the Texans' defense is actually pretty good. So we'll see how it goes. I actually still think they're going to win. I think it'll be close. I could see the Texans stealing one away from them, but I'm going to say the Rams squeak one out and win this one with a score of 21-20. All right, and heading to Sunday Night Football, we have this. If it's not Packers-Lions, then this is going to be the best game of the week. You've got the Ravens with Lamar Jackson and the Bills with Josh Allen. And the Ravens, they were able to bring in Jair Alexander. I mean, granted, he's not what he used to be, but he's still a pretty damn good player, so that should help out their defense. And the Bills, they've obviously got Josh Allen. They were able to re-sign James Cook to an extension. And they got Maxwell Hairston in the draft with their first pick. We'll see how he does, see if that helps out their defense, which is crucial, especially in the playoffs. So this is a coin flip. This could go either way, but I am going to go with the Bills just because they're the home team. And I do think that the Bills are better at winning big games than the Ravens. And I know it's week 1, but this is a big game. I mean, it's arguably going to be one of their toughest games of the season. So I'm going to say the Bills win this game 30-27. And ending off the week, we have Monday Night Football between the Minnesota Vikings and the Chicago Bears. And the Bears, they brought in Ben Johnson, so everyone thinks they're going to be this unbelievable team now, which is unrealistic considering it's the Bears. And the Vikings, they have J.J. McCarthy, but he is on a actually very good offense. So as long as he's not completely terrible, the Vikings should be fine. And this game, I think it's going to be a closer game than people might think. Just because, I mean, these are opponents. These are NFC North opponents. It's the second matchup between the two teams. And I am going to go with the Vikings just because I trust their organization a little better at this point in time. And we'll have to see how Ben Johnson fares as a head coach. I think he'll be all right, but you know, the first game, it might not be smooth sailing. So because of that, I'm going to say the Vikings win this game with a score of 22-17. And there you have it. That does it for my Week 1 NFL predictions. And I mean, this goes without saying, but if there's any kind of catastrophic injury after I make this video or while during the week, I mean, obviously my opinions might change, but as for now, this is what I stand by, and I can't wait. I think it's going to be a really good season, and it's going to be real fun watching football again. I've missed it, and I'm sure a lot of you have too. So we'll have a fun time watching football, and then we'll be back with some NFL reactions and possibly some power rankings too. I mean, we'll get some videos out there because it's the NFL season, and this is in my opinion the best time of the year. So I'm obviously really looking forward to it. And if you're still watching this video, I appreciate you for watching it, and I'll see you in my next video. Peace out.